right. Looks like we're live. Nobody joining yet, but we'll give everybody a minute to get joined on here. Let me get set up over here so I can answer comments. Come on, computer. Respond. Hey, we got somebody in here. A couple of people in here. Give me a second, guys. Let me get all set up here. Hey, Giant Angoras. I'm just going to call you that. Dakota, Uno, and Maddox. Hey, guys. Give me a second here. Trying to get set up. All right, I think we're good. All right, how's everybody doing this evening? Hopefully well. It is cold here in southwest Missouri. I think it is 30 degrees out right now. Very chilly. I bet it's very cold in Wisconsin. I bet it's way colder in Wisconsin, but it's pretty chilly here. We got a cold front coming through. I'm going to put my gloves on here now that I don't have to touch the screens anymore. It's, yeah, very chilly out tonight. I was going to shoot this inside tonight, but I don't have anywhere to really do that that's cleaned up and ready. So who knows? Maybe next week I'll get a room cleared out. Well, I'll get my office cleared out a little bit and I can shoot in there. What am I going to say? The sound's not as great inside, but I think you guys could suffer through that if we had to. Dakota says it is cold in Arkansas. Yeah, I bet it is. We got people here from Wisconsin, though, so it's probably nowhere near as cold in Arkansas as it is in Wisconsin. Very cold in Antwerp. I don't know where Antwerp is, but yeah, very cold. Your snow is melting, huh? Well, we just got snow. Wow, comments coming in quick here, guys. If I miss a comment, hang on a second. Let me see if I can expand that a little bit. What does that do? Pop out chat. That's what I want. Okay, so, yeah, we got snow the other day. And not much, just about an inch or a half inch, something like that. It's not a whole lot of snow. Not as much as we usually get, though. Okay, so let's see. Jamico says, can't stay long. Just wanted to let you know last week we had trouble with 9-week-old quail not laying and males not calling. You recommended some solar lights. Yes, I did. Hopefully that worked out well for you. The males are making tones now. Haha, hopefully some eggs soon. Thanks again for the help. Hey, no problem, Jamico. Glad to hear that's working out well. I'm sure you're going to get eggs in no time at all. And Lewis from Dominican Republic is on. Hey, Lewis, how are you? Haven't been down there in a little while, but hopefully, maybe February I'll be back down there. He's a guy that works with me down there in that office. Great guy. And has his own YouTube channel, actually, focused on music, Dominican music, so like salsa music and things like that. All right, who else we got here? Belgium. Willy Wonka's in Belgium. Ugh. I bet it's cold there. Cold in Mississippi. Well, Maddox Trigg, what do you consider cold in Mississippi? I just got to know. It's all relative, I think. It's cold here to me, 30 degrees. In the next couple of days, we're going to be down to, I think the low for Saturday night is like 7 degrees. The low for Sunday is like 2 degrees, and then it's not going to get above the teens all day. High of 9 out today there. Ooh, that's pretty chilly. And let's see who else we got. It's raining for me, 40 degrees for. Hey, we're supposed to have 40 degrees tomorrow. Kind of hoping it melts everything and thaws out just a little bit. Let's see. Muname, I think is the way you pronounce that. Says you have some quails, but they're not laying eggs. I'm guessing it's probably a lack of light. If it's wintertime where you're at, like it is here, and you got short days, that's probably what's causing. Add some light, get them up to 14 hours a day of light, and you'll probably start getting eggs in no time. Cowboy Colt says, have you heard of James Murray Farms quail? Thinking about getting some jumbos from them. Yeah, James Murray Farms is the name in the quail business. In fact, most of my birds came from James Murray Farms bloodlines. I got them from Kansas City Quail Farms when they sponsored a video of mine, but they are a bloodline from James Murray Farms. Great birds. You can't go wrong with them. Let's see what else we got here. Season's greetings to you. Is that Quessy? Quessy, I'm guessing. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right or not. Vincent wants to know, can you eat eggs if they froze the night before? Yeah, absolutely you can. No problem with eating eggs that are frozen. I do it all the time. Let's see, what do we got here? Metal Meltdown says, I'm having a great deal of issues keeping my water from freezing. Bought heated bottles, still freezing. My next option that I can think of is moving them into my shed with the wood stove. Any suggestions? Well, what I do with water in the wintertime is I switch over to bowls. Let's see, for my rabbits, I use crocks. I use ceramic crocks right now, but you might get rubber crocks. You can just pop the ice out of them. Just fill them up like a quarter of the way. The rabbits will go right to them. They'll drink as much water as they can. Then go back in the evening and just pour some more water in. They'll drink as much as they can. The next morning, there's usually a big block of ice in there because they couldn't drink it all. Pop that out, start all over again. Do the same thing the next day. That's pretty much the only solution I found that works really well. Even with heated water bottles and heated lines and those kinds of things, the nipples and the valves actually freeze up. So even if the water's not frozen, they can't get water out of it because it all freezes up. But anyway, that's what I use. For my quail, I use basically the same thing I use for feeders. They're like Tupperware style containers with holes cut in the side, and I have the lid on them, and I like those. It's the same process. Just fill them a little bit up with water. Quail will go and drink as much as they can, and then come and top it off with some more water in the afternoon, evening. The quail will drink as much as they can, and then the next morning thaw them out or have replacements to bring out and start all over again, do the same thing all over again. I lost my train of thought where I was going with that. But anyway, that's the only solution I found that works really well for watering. German Angoras wants to know, do I like snow because school gets canceled and that's why she likes it? I don't mind snow. I kind of like the snow. It kind of, to me, it takes the bitterness out of the cold, makes it a little bit more bearable. We didn't have much snow. Let's see, you might be able to see some behind me. It's all ice now. It's not snow. I can't. It wasn't a whole lot. It was only about a ½ inch or an inch maybe. But we're supposed to get some more snow here in a couple of days. We'll see if that accumulates a little bit more. Let's see. Why do some rabbits eat their babies? Okay. UAG Flash says, hey, have a quick question. Why do some rabbits eat their babies? If it's a first-time mom, a lot of the times that's just a... when they go to clean the rabbits, clean the babies, their first-time moms are inexperienced and they get a little bit over-aggressive with the cleaning. And they just... That's kind of what leads to that. Other rabbits, it's just a poor mothering trait in them. I think it's probably a survival instinct. They feel threatened for some reason, so they eat the babies to... to take that nutrients back in to replenish what they've wasted on making the babies, so to speak. But it's, if it's a continuous thing, if it happens with more than one time, then I would get rid of that rabbit and just replace it with another rabbit. It's just a bad trait, bad mothering trait that got passed on, and not a good rabbit to have in your breeding cycle, so to speak. So hopefully that kind of answers that question for you. It just happens from time to time. There's not much you can do. There are some things that you can, put a piece of bacon on the rabbit's nose or give it some raw bacon to eat, something like that. But rabbits aren't really meat eaters. That can work, but my best suggestion is really just get rid of that rabbit if it's something that happens and it's not a first-time mom. If it's a continuous thing and it's happened after the first litter, then I would definitely replace that rabbit with another breeder. Let's see, I have 12 rabbits and the winter keeps freezing water bottles. This is Dakota saying that. Yeah. That's what's going to happen in the wintertime. When it gets cold, things freeze, and there's not really much way around that. But if you just, like I said, just give them a little bit of water in the mornings in a bowl, put a little more water in there in the evenings in a bowl, they're going to do just fine. They'll go and drink as much as they can whenever they get fresh water, and they'll be fine. They'll get enough. All right, thanks a lot for the advice from the middle of Morocco. Oh, nice. No problem. Glad to help. Let's see. Giant Angora says, just started getting ice in the bottles. Well, heck, we've had it here for a little while now. Let's see. Cowboy Colt says, he's talking to Jamiko. Says, thanks, bud. Probably order some after the snow has been having. I think you're talking about the jumbo pharaohs, or the jumbo quail from James Murray Farms. The jumbos are bigger birds for sure, and you can tell the sex of the pharaohs based on the color, which is nice. Jamiko, I'd have to agree with you there. I like jumbo pharaohs better than I do like the jumbo whites or any of those, mostly because you can feather sex them. And you can feather sex them young, like at 4 weeks, 5 weeks. you can just look at them and tell which ones are roosters, which ones are hens. Whereas the other birds, the all white ones, the tuxedos and those kinds of things, you have to wait until they get to sexual maturity, and then you have to vent sex them, which I've got videos on how to do all that. It's not that difficult, but I do like to be able to just look at them and tell which ones are roosters and which ones are hens. Giant Angora says, snow makes Christmas and New Year holidays more happy for me. Yeah, I kind of like snow for the holidays as well. We'll see you later, Giant Angora. Have a good evening. Let's see. Doug Elgin, I think it is, says, hi, Chris from Northern Illinois. We're getting snow right now, but slowing down. Total between 1 to 4 expected. Well, that's not too terrible, but hopefully you got all your coops closed up and they're not going to get just bombarded with snow. All right, let's see. Cowboy Colt says, bait them to keep predators from smelling them out if she feels like they won't make it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You're talking about why mothers eat their babies. A Chanarook, I think it is. Chanarook? I'm not sure. Hello there. Is it normal for quail egg production to stop completely in the winter? There were heated garage and timer lights 8 to 8. It's normal for it to really slow down. 8 to 8 is 12 hours. You might make it like 8 to 10, give them 14 hours, and they'll probably start laying again. It might be a little bit sporadic in the dead of winter, but usually they're going to continue laying as long as they have about 14 hours of light. Dakota wants to know if I can make a video on sexing a rabbit. I assume you're talking about like young rabbits, because adult rabbits, it's pretty easy to tell which ones are males. But yeah, I can do a video. In fact, I've done a video on that before. I've got a video on how to sex baby rabbits. You might go back and check, and you can see, I don't have any baby rabbits right now to shoot the video on. I've got some due, but they were due yesterday, actually, and she still hasn't given birth, so I'm not sure if it's a failed pregnancy or not. May not have any baby rabbits to do that video with for a little while, but like I said, I have shot one. You can go back to my channel and search for how to sex baby rabbits, I think is what it's called, and you should be able to find that, and that should help clear it up for you, I hope. Hey, Max. Dog's feeling neglected. He sees I'm talking to people. All right, calm down, buddy. All right, what else we got here? What do you do with your remaining quails? I'm not sure what you mean by remaining... Oh, remaining male quails. Okay. Yeah, I always end up with way too many roosters out of every hatch. Max, quit. Go on. I don't need your help right now. Sorry, dog's getting a little bit jealous of me talking to somebody else, I guess. All right, always get too many roosters from a hatch. Every time you hatch out birds, always end up with more roosters than you need. I eat them. That's what I do with them. They're meat birds. They serve a purpose of meat and eggs. So all my extra birds that I'm not using for producing eggs, they get butchered. They go in the freezer. Usually I eat them either same day or probably next day after I butcher them most of the time. And then anything else just goes in the freezer for later. You know, glad you stopped by. Have a good night. UAG Flash says, at what age can you tell the rabbit's sex, and how do you see? Well, like I said, I've got a video on that. You can go back and check it out, but usually somewhere around 5 weeks, somewhere right around in there. It's pretty easy to tell which ones are males and which ones are females, and you just turn them over and you look at their private areas, and you can tell the difference between a male and a female that way. Hey, Max, hush. I think my wife's home, and he's not sure who it is. Max, hush. That's enough. He's not listening to me. But, it's kind of crude, but the old saying goes, taco, it's a female, burrito, it's a male. And if you go watch that video, you'll see what I'm talking about. Just go look for how to sex baby rabbits on my channel, and you should be able to find that video, and it's got the visual. I mean, I actually show it, so it's a little bit easier that way. Yep, you got 10 cages tarped. Good deal. It keeps the snow out of them. Not sure what's going on over there. And let's see, how do you tell the gender of a rabbit? Oh, well, it's kind of what I've just answered that a couple of times. I guess I need to shoot another video on that whenever I have some baby rabbits. And I assume you're talking about baby rabbits, because, like I said, adult rabbits, it's pretty easy to tell the males. Pretty simple. I don't think I need to go into a lot of explanation on that. All right, Cowboy Colt wants to know, am I thinking about getting any other animals? Goats, pigs, or chickens? Well, probably not goats or pigs. I live in the city, and my neighbor actually has a couple of pygmy goats, but I don't think I really want to push my luck too much, especially not pigs. I could get in some serious trouble, I think, and draw too much attention with some pigs around here. But I might add some chickens. Probably what I'll add is ducks at some point in the future. I'd like to have a couple of ducks for the eggs. So who knows? You know, stay tuned for my channel, and you might see some ducks at some point out here. Allison Tribley wants to know, how cold is too cold for rabbits? It's in the teens here. Well, the teens is no problem for rabbits. As long as they have a wind block, they're going to be fine. It's been getting down pretty consistently in the low teens at night, and the rabbits are doing just fine. I actually breed them. Like I said, I have baby rabbits due right now. It's like 32 degrees right now. It's supposed to drop down to below 20 tonight. I'm not the slightest bit worried about that. Had plenty of babies born in way colder temperatures than that, and they do just fine. As long as she has them in the nest box, they stay plenty warm, no problems whatsoever. All right, Jamiko says, I think I'm going to butcher my first quail tomorrow. What's your favorite way to cook them? Well, there's a couple of ways to do that. One of my favorites is just to, when you butcher them, just kind of like flatten them out a little bit, and that'll kind of make more sense. They're kind of, well, you know, you got the breast and all just kind of curved like that, just kind of flatten them out. You'll kind of snap those bones right there a little bit. They're pretty easy to do. Sprinkle them down with whatever your favorite seasoning is. Right now, I kind of like Cavender's Greek seasoning. Just sprinkle that over them. Put them under the broiler in your oven. That's about 400 degrees on a you know, a tray with you know, if you've got like a tray that has like a like a wire rack, you can set them on. That's even better. Set them underneath that broiler about 4 minutes on each side, and that's about all it takes at 400 degrees. Quail do really well cooked hot and fast, so that's my preferred method to cook them. All right. Cowboy Colt says, where do babies come from? Yeah, I'm thinking that's a joke, probably. All right, Rough Road Homestead says, Allison, we've had our rabbits outside in 15-degree weather. I just load their cages with straw to hopefully help create a little warmth, but they do fine. I don't even put straw in my cages. You could put like a nest box in there if you wanted to give them something to get in. Most of my rabbits don't even use that if I put it in there, or if they do use it, they use it more like a litter box. I put straw in the cage, and they just throw it all over the place and get rid of it. It doesn't really seem to do much good for me. But, hey, nothing wrong with doing that if you want to. But it's not an absolute necessity. Mine just, I mean, it's just the regular cages. I just pull the tarps down so that the wind's blocked off of them, and they do just fine, well below zero. Doug says, when you get your new cages, you're going to send me a pic of the setup. Cool, I'd like to see that. Doug also says, Allison, I have rabbits and it's gotten down below zero and now deaths. I think you mean no deaths. That's probably a typo there. But yeah, same thing. Well below zero, they do just fine in the cold. Rabbits are actually more suited to deal with the cold than they are the heat. I mean, they've got big fur coats on. And they are much more comfortable in the cold of winter than they are in the heat of summer, especially if you get up over like 80 degrees where you're at. What else we got here? Runners best for eggs. I think you're talking about ducks again. Yeah, runners are pretty good for eggs. There's a couple of different ducks you could get for eggs. I'm not sure what I'll go with, but whenever I get into ducks, then I'll start shooting some videos on those. Willie Wonka says, do ducks produce a lot of eggs? It depends on what kind of ducks you get. If you get the right kind of ducks, yeah, they can produce a lot of eggs. Pretty much as much as a chicken, as much as, you know, whatever else. But again, you have to get the right kind of duck for that to happen. But yeah, they produce a lot. Yeah, there's another channel out there, 50 Ducks in a Hot Tub. Dakota is recommending that. I've seen a couple of his videos. Looks like a good channel on ducks. If you're interested in that, you can go check it out and see what he's got. Plenty of experience with ducks. All right, Allison Tribley says, okay, cool, thank you. When I was a kid, mine froze, so I was a little nervous. I have tarps, warm water, and fleece blankets. Are you talking about your rabbits froze when you were a kid? That seems odd. Unless they were, I mean, in the wind or something. I can't imagine that happening. I've never seen that happen to rabbits. Hey, if you, I mean, warm water, tarps, and fleece blankets, that's way more pampered than my rabbits get. I'd be a little bit concerned with them chewing up the blankets, but hey, you never know. Tracy, hey there, how are you? All right, let me grab a drink here real quick. Wow, that's cold. A little afraid it's going to freeze out here, but hey, I won't be hurt that long. All right, Jamiko says you got to go. I'll have to rewatch your butchering video a couple of times tomorrow and give it a shot. Thanks for all the great information, man. Well, hey, thanks for joining tonight. Appreciate you stopping by, and hopefully I'll be on next week. We'll see you then. Good luck with your first butchering, too. It's really pretty easy. You're going to do just fine. What else we got? I Love Games says my rabbit had unexpected kits 2 days ago. They all died since I could not get the babies or the nest box in. She had them on the wire, and all the other rabbits walked over like it was no problem. How do I stop that? Well, first things you should do is probably separate them out into their own cages. That way you can kind of control the breeding. You know when it's going to happen. Rabbits are really not communal animals. They may do just fine in a group cage like that, but they don't need that group environment. They're going to do just fine living in their own cage. And that's what I would do, is separate them out so you don't have that problem in the future. That's my best suggestion for you. And that's, in fact, the only suggestion I got, really. If they're all just kept together, that's going to happen. You're going to have unexpected litters. You're not going to know when to expect it. And that's probably going to happen, unfortunately. Dakota says, do rabbits need hay to make bed in winter? No, they don't. If you were going to throw anything in there, it would be straw, not hay. But they don't need it. They do just fine without it. No problems. And let's see what else. This is I Love Games says, you found one today. It was so cold it was frozen to the mesh. And when I took it off, you could see the imprints of the wire. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's sad when that happens. Sorry to hear about that. Okay, C. Vignes, I think. It's minus here in Minnesota. 20-plus bunnies are doing great. They are in an unheated building. Yeah, as long as they have a windbreak, they're fine. Cowboy Colt says you should try a colony rabbit setup and make a segment on it like People's Colony did. I tried the cages and ended up doing a hybrid setup, and I love it way more than the cages. You know, there's nothing wrong with doing a colony setup if you want to do that. My concerns with that is rabbits kept on the ground are going to be more susceptible to parasites and diseases and those kinds of things than they are kept in cages. Now, that's relative. It kind of depends on how big of a problem that is in the area you live in. You may never have a problem with it, but they are more susceptible to it when they're in contact with the ground. You also are more susceptible to mites, to any of those kinds of pests that come along. But the other problem with it is you got to have a pretty big area, or you're just cleaning it all the time. So that's the other concern that I have with it. But hey, for me, cages work out really well. If a colony works out for you, great. I don't really have a place to do a colony setup where I could keep them from digging out from underneath it, and keep them safe from predators at the same time. So that's some of my other concerns with that too. Hey, Walt from Southern California. Good to see you on here. I bet you're nice and warm there in Southern California. It is cold everywhere else. Chloe Haywood says, my rabbit keeps pulling her fur out, but she's not pregnant. Any idea what it might be? Are you sure she's not pregnant? That if she's not pregnant, then it's probably just a false pregnancy. She's pulling fur, going through the motions, just a false pregnancy. It's really nothing to worry about. She'll probably get over it in a couple of days. But are you absolutely sure she's not pregnant? That would be my first question. If she hasn't been anywhere near a buck, then you're probably safe. But if she has and she's pulling fur, put a nest box in there just to be on the safe side, just in case. All right, what else we got here? Tracy Hedford said, my rabbits don't eat hay. Will they be okay? I give them hay, but they just use it as a bathroom. I bet they probably eat some of it. But yeah, they'll be okay if they're not eating it. They're going to be fine. It's probably good to go ahead and offer it to them. I would get hay racks, though, something that gets it off the floor. What I use is just pieces of cage wire that I kind of, I cut them in kind of it's hard to explain, like a wedge shape. So like the feeder sits on the cage right here, and I cut them in a wedge shape. Let me do it this way. Here's the top of the feeder. Here's the inside of the cage, in a wedge shape like that, so I can stuff the hay down in there, and they just pull it through the inside of the cage, and anything extra that falls down into the feeder itself. And that works out pretty well for me. Sometimes they'll go for a period of time without eating any, and then all of a sudden they just eat it all up in one day. I don't know why, but that's just what they do from time to time. I Love Games says, has it snowed where you live? Yeah, we got a snow the other day, but it wasn't much of a snow. It was about a half an inch. Maybe. I don't even think it was quite that much. Not even quite enough it didn't even really cover the roads. Just a little bit of a light blanket out on the grass and stuff like that. And we've still got some left over here, like on the north side of the house here where the sun never really hits. There's some snow still left, but it wasn't a whole lot. What we got here? Some nights in the 30s around here, days in the 70s, some 80s. That's Walt talking. Well, yeah, we're right now it's 32 degrees right here. And this is the warmest it's been in a couple of days. Tomorrow we're supposed to get up to 40, which will be nice, but then we're back down for the next like 4 or 5 days. We're not going to get above like 15, 20 degrees. It's going to be cold. Chloe Haywood says, yeah, she's definitely not pregnant. We had the males neutered. Well, they probably still went through the motions then, and she's just having a false pregnancy would be my guess. But you know what? I don't know. Just keep an eye on her for a couple days. She's probably going to be fine. There's probably nothing to worry about. Unemployable says, do fire ants get into raised cages? I just built an outdoor cage and concerned because the ants are everywhere in Texas. Well, I don't have fire ants here in Missouri. That's one of the benefits of living in Missouri. I lived in Texas for about 8 years, and that was probably the worst thing about living in Texas was fire ants. They are horrible. But I mean, I would say they probably could get into raised cages, whether they do or not. I can't see why they would really want to get into the cages, though. What would draw them to them? So I don't imagine it would be a huge problem. If it is, just put some like Vaseline around the legs of the cages or something like that, and that'll keep them from climbing up the cages and getting in them. Or you could put like any kind of like a ring around it. Like a plastic lid with a hole cut out. The leg goes through the middle, silicone it so it'll hold water, and just fill it with water. They won't be able to get past that. It'll be like a moat around the leg of the hutch, if that makes sense. Or heck, you could just do it on the ground, I guess, for that matter. Just set them in like Tupperware lids or something, something that has a little bit of a lip on it, and put some water in there. You might want to put a drop of bleach or two in it so you don't breed mosquitoes, but other than that, it should work. I Love Games wants to know if I can redo my nest box video because it was really confusing when I recorded it. Yeah, I'll see what I can do about that. I don't need a nest box right now, so I don't know if I'll be building one anytime soon. Sorry I got that all confusing. Every once in a while well, heck, I'm just human. I make mistakes. I don't always make the most sense. But yeah, I'll see what I can do to reshoot it. It's really not that hard. It's just cut your wire out in the shape and fold it together and clamp it all together. It's really not that difficult to make. But I'll see what I can do to maybe reshoot that at some point. Aloha Quails. Hey, how are you? Let's see. You had I recognize you have a channel as well. I think you had a video not too long ago. Was it on the feeders? Was that the video that I think you commented on, or that I commented on? You had a bunch of different feeder styles you were doing. I think that was your channel, wasn't it? I can't remember, but I think that was yours. That was a good video. I liked your feeder ideas, if that was. What else we got? Can you make more vids? Dakota wants to know if I can make more vids. Yeah, I pretty much make videos about every week. I did not get videos posted this week. Sorry, guys. It was Christmas. Too much going on. But yeah, pretty much every Monday and Tuesday I post new videos. Just give me some ideas on what you guys want to see in the videos, and I'll do my best to get those up there. Allison Tribley wants to know, what do I do to keep my water bottles from freezing? Everybody keeps asking that. I'm going to have to shoot that in my next video probably. I don't. I switch over to Crocs and bowls in the wintertime because even if you use heated bottles or heated systems that keep your water from freezing, the nipples on the bottles still freeze. And they can't get water out of them, even if the water in the bottle isn't frozen. When it gets down below about 15 degrees, it doesn't matter. Everything freezes. So there's no way that I've found to keep those things from freezing. If you had them in an enclosed building or something, you could hang some like 60-watt light bulbs down near the cages, and that would probably do a good job. But if they're outside, it's going to freeze, and there's not much you can do about it. Just switch over to bowls, a little bit of water in the bowl in the morning. They'll come over and they'll drink as much as they can, put a little more water in the bowl in the afternoon. They'll come over and drink as much as they can in the afternoon, evening, and then start all over the next day and do it all over. That's the best way. All right. Would you consider making a video of your outtakes? Of my outtakes? You're talking about like a blooper video, Tracy? I think that's what you mean. I could consider it. I don't think that'd be very entertaining usually, because usually it's just me saying something, babbling on for a minute, and then going, I don't like the way I sounded, and then doing it all over again. So, I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? Will Bradley says, do you know what age silver fox rabbits start turning silver? I don't know for sure. I've got a silver fox right now, but I got her as an adult. I want to say that usually it's probably going to be somewhere around, probably around 5 months to 6 months old when they blow their first coat. Then when they grow the other one back in, it should start kind of having those silver tips on it, so to speak. They're not really silver rabbits, though. I mean, they're black rabbits. They just have kind of a silvery tip to the fur, if that makes sense. Yeah, Aloha Quails. I think it was the feeder video. You had some good ideas on the feeders. I like those. Allison says you put warm water several times a day and they love it. Yeah, they would love that for sure. Francine Rossani, I think it is, wants to know what temps can quail tolerate. Well, I keep my quail outside as well as my rabbits. I've had them down below 0, and they do just fine. I can't really comment on what temp they can actually handle below that because I haven't experienced anything below that. But I can tell you down to about -5, they do just fine. No problems whatsoever, as long as they have a wind block. And, of course, I have, like, big sandboxes in there that they can get in and get off the wire, so that keeps the drafts from coming up on them as well. And, honestly, they haven't been using it too much. The other day it got down to about 10 degrees at night, and when I came out, they were all in the sandbox, all huddled together. That's the first time I've ever seen that happen. Most of the time they just stay out on the wire, no problems whatsoever. But they were all in the sandbox when it got that cold. Okay, I Love Game says if it's a bucket, try putting in a gutter heater. Yeah, but that's, again, you're still going to have problems with the nipples, the actual water valves themselves freezing up. Even if the water in the bucket and the system doesn't freeze up, it's the nipples that are going to freeze up, and they can't get water out of it, so it doesn't really work. Yeah, if I have any bloopers, Tracy, I'll collect those together. If there's anything worth sharing, I'll try to put those together and share them for you guys. Where do you get the clamps to hold the wire mesh together? Those are called J-clips. You can look it up on Amazon, get a bag of J-clips, pretty cheap, and a pair of J-clip pliers. You could use hog rings as well. Hog rings work just fine too. Cowboy Colt says, I buried Rubbermaid tubs and put straw in them and they don't dig. I will upload a video. I clean maybe once and twice a week and spread DE takes a few minutes. Oh, you're talking about your rabbit colony setup. Yeah, let me know when you upload a video on that. I'll take a look at that and check it out. Dakota Ulrich says, can you all subscribe to my channel? I think you're probably going to have to tell us what your channel's about and see if it's worth it. Don't ask, I'll tell you guys, as a YouTube, if you've got a YouTube channel, don't just go asking for people to subscribe to your channel. You've got to give them a reason what your channel's about, and you don't want subscribers that aren't going to watch your videos. And just realize your videos are not for everybody out there. The only people, I mean, you just want your videos to be for the people that your channel is for. For example, my channel is about raising rabbits, raising quail, a little bit of gardening, some of those kinds of things. And I may expand a little bit from that. But and I have one video that I shot a while back about wild baby rabbits in the yard at the office. And it went just, I mean, it's got over 1 million views now. For some reason, that video went crazy. And I got all the people, people all the time saying that they're going to subscribe to me off that video. But those are not my ideal viewers. They're probably not going to like the rest of my videos. Probably not a channel that's really going to fit their needs. So don't be offended when people don't subscribe to your channel. That's really the only reason I say that. It really doesn't mean anything if they're not subscribing to your channel. Okay, Maddox Trick says, my rabbit is due for babies on January 2nd. When should I put the nest box in? I was thinking tomorrow. Yeah, I usually do about 3 or 4 days before they're due. That's a good time to go ahead and put the nest box in. All right, who we got here? Chalmer, I think it is. I noticed that my jumbo Coturnix quail seem to stay in their box more in freezing temperatures than in the run part. Well, mine don't really do that too much. I've got a few birds that like to stay in the box part of the cage or the hutch, but they pretty much stay there all the time, summer, winter, whatever. The rest of them pretty much stay out on the wire in the open part of the hutch most of the time. I can't see them right now. I don't think. Yeah, the light's not bright enough, so I can't see where they are right now. But hey, it's good to have that option for them if they do want to use it. Yeah, Aloha Quail says, as long as you have enough quails in the cage, they should be good. They like to huddle for warmth. They do huddle together a little bit for warmth, but I don't really notice my birds doing that much. Even when they're like all in the nest box the other day or all in the sandbox the other day, all of the birds were in there. but they weren't like crammed together. They were all spread out pretty far. So, you know, but again, give them that option. More birds is definitely good. You don't want to put a single bird out by itself. You know, give it the option to be able to snuggle up with the other birds, so to speak. Okay, Mary Monk says, what do you think about open water containers? Are they more likely to get coccidiosis with bowls or water bottles? No, I don't. There's probably no additional risk with water bottles. I never can pronounce that word. Coccidiosis is a parasite, basically derived, and it comes from contact with ground, not contact with water. So really, there's no additional risk of that just by giving them open water bottles. I assume you're talking about rabbits there. With the quails, I do like a closed top water bottle just because they're so bad about jumping in it. I've had them like when I pour water in there in an open bowl, and they just jump in the water, and then they're all soaking wet in the freezing cold. But the other thing is when it gets iced over, they jump in there and walk all over the ice, and they just foul it up. It's terrible. So I like to use a closed top on that, very similar to my feeders. Like I said, it's just a Tupperware style container with holes cut in it, so they can stick their head through the holes and get a drink. Carmen, good night to you. Thanks for stopping by. 96. Aloha Quail says 96% of my views are from non-subscribers, if that tells you anything. I think that's probably pretty common with most channels, and that's okay. They don't, you know, I like my subscribers. I like these live broadcasts where we get to interact, but not everybody needs to subscribe. And those people that watch it just the one-time video or whatever, I appreciate that too. No problem. Aloha wants to know, how many quail do I keep over the wintertime? As many as I need. I mean, I don't really measure it out. I do let the population drop just a little bit in the wintertime, and then I incubate again early in the spring and boost the population back up. But right now I've probably got about 40 birds, maybe a little more. I'm not sure. I haven't counted them in a little while. But those are going to be my, you know, I've got my jumbo pharaohs. I've got my Schofield silvers. Those are two different hutches I've got. And I do have some roosters that are waiting to go to the freezer. I've just been lazy and haven't done it. But they're ready to go any day now. Once I get rid of those guys, I'll be down to about probably 30 birds, somewhere right around in there. And I'll probably keep all those guys through the winter, so I have birds to breed and incubate in the spring. And who knows, if we get a warm snap and the eggs stop freezing, I may start incubating again earlier than that. Cora K says, I raise James Marie jumbo quail, and their eggs are huge. Their poop is huge, too. When they freeze, the poop doesn't go through the fencing. Do you have any more cleaning when it freezes? I don't have too many problems. Some additional poop does collect on the wire, but it seems to break up and fall through pretty easily, pretty quickly. So it's really not that big of an issue for me. I don't really have to do too much additional cleaning in the wintertime. Dakota wants to know, can you do a rabbit project on using a dog exercise pen and put 1 buck and 2 does in there and let them breed and have babies in there? I don't think I'm going to do that, actually, Dakota. If I ever did do that, I would shoot a video on that, but that doesn't work out well for me. Rabbits dig like crazy, and a dog exercise pen's not probably a good environment. I'm not set up. I don't have a dog exercise pen to put them in, first of all. And putting all those rabbits together, it just, there's a little bit more to it than that. Not going to work out well for me. I'm probably not going to do that. So no offense, but I'm probably not going to shoot that video. Yeah, Aloha Quail's got a good suggestion on cleaning wire, just using a grill brush. It will break up and help it pass through. That's a great idea. I usually find that most of it just breaks up on its own and passes through anyway. Maddox Trigg wants to know, how many rabbits do you have? Right now I have 3. I've just got my 1 buck and my 2 does. But I do have a doe that's due. She was due yesterday and hasn't had babies yet, so we'll see if she does have them or not. Let's see, I Love Games says, you saw this video the other day and it seemed really cool. If I implement it into a rabbit waterer, can you tell me your opinion? Well, I can't click on that video right now and go watch it. We're right in the middle of a live broadcast, so I don't know what the video's about. And whenever we're done with the live broadcast, the comments all go away, so I won't have that link to check on. You can come back after the live broadcast post, after I'm off of here, and leave it as a comment, and then maybe I'll get a chance to go check that out and see, and I'll try to do my best to respond to you through there if it doesn't get marked as spam. A lot of the times when you post links in the comments, it gets marked as spam and I never see it. So if I don't respond to it, don't be offended by that. All right, Willy Wonka says, while I'm lighting up my quails, my turkeys are also starting to lay eggs. Yeah, well, I mean, that's pretty much holds true for any bird. Chickens, quail, ducks, whatever. You give them 14 hours a day of light, and they're going to lay eggs. All right, let's see who we got here. Unemployment says, how big does a quail have to be a jumbo? I heard 10 ounces. Are jumbos any more or less efficient with food conversion? Is it worth having a separate cage just for them, or is it an OCD pride thing? Well, it depends on what you're looking for. Yes, jumbo birds are anything over, I think it's over 10 ounces. That's considered a jumbo bird. And the only reason I keep them separate is so I have jumbo birds. If I start mixing my jumbo birds with standard birds, then their offspring is going to be more like standard birds. They're going to lose that big size. So that's the biggest reason I keep them separate, is just to make sure that those genetics continue to pass on and they continue to be jumbo birds. Hopefully that makes sense. Maddox Trigg wants to know if I can do more rabbit breeding videos. Yeah, I've done some videos on how to breed rabbits. I'm not sure what would you like to see from a breeding standpoint? Let me know. I'll make sure I get that in a video. And then you're also asking, let's see, what do you do with all your rabbit? You only have 3 rabbits. I have 20. Well, 20 is a lot of rabbits. I only have 3 because that's as much as I'll eat. Not that I'll eat those 3 rabbits, but I just breeding those two does on a fairly regular basis gives me plenty of rabbit to keep me fed, as much rabbit as I'm going to eat anyway. So that's why I only have the 3. Dakota wants to know, what type of meat rabbit do you prefer? I don't necessarily have an absolute favorite. New Zealand whites are great, Californias are great, silver foxes are great. I would suggest that it's probably best in most cases, and this doesn't hold true forever, but in most cases it's best to start with purebred rabbits for your breeders. They don't have to be the same breed, but purebred rabbits. Like I have a California buck and I have a silver fox doe. And I'll mix those two together, and those great bunnies to make meat rabbits out of, but their offspring doesn't necessarily make good breeders. Mixed breed rabbits, in my experience, don't tend to be great breeders. I usually have better luck with purebred rabbits. All right, what else we got here? C. Vignes, can I get jumbo quails from you in the spring of 2018? I'm not really set up to ship and to sell eggs large scale. I would recommend Kansas City Quail Farms. Sells great. They're James Murray Farms bloodlines. Great selection of different types of birds, whatever you're looking for, and great birds. I've had very good luck with the eggs that I've gotten from him. All of my birds actually came from that bloodline. So that's where I would suggest you go check out. You're probably going to get a little bit better deal on that. I'm just really not set up to do that. What else we got here? Now, if you were fairly local and you wanted to just come by and pick them up, then yeah, we could work something out. But I'm in Southwest Missouri. I don't know where you're located. Jake wants to say, oh, you should make an Instagram account. Well, I may do that someday, but right now I'm just terrible at even keeping up with my Facebook account. But who knows? Maybe I'll get there someday. Pablo says, when are you doing a giveaway? And if, what would it be? Could it be poultry stuff when I do? I don't know. I haven't thought about doing a giveaway. Actually, I thought about it, but I don't have anything to give away right now. But who knows? Maybe I'll work something out and we'll do a big giveaway. And yeah, probably do something poultry related or rabbit related at least. Maybe I'll give away a watering system. Who knows? We'll see. I'll work something out on that maybe. Maddox wants to know, are you going to get in another rabbit breed? Am I going to get another rabbit breed in? Maybe someday. I don't really necessarily have any plans for it. I'm really kind of wanting to get back to, I don't have any New Zealand whites right now, and I'm wanting to get back to New Zealand whites. They've just been really the best producers for me so far. So I'm thinking about going back and getting another New Zealand white. I really like the silver fox too, though. All right. Chalmer, is that Chalmer? I don't know how to pronounce your name, but is asking, is it okay to feed my jumbo Caternix quail cracked corn chicken feed, like a mix with their main feed? You can. It's probably not the best thing to feed them, though. I don't really think I don't think corn's great for them, but it's not terrible for them either. But it doesn't, I would stick with like a game bird starter or a turkey starter, something like that. That's going to give them a more nutritional value and the protein levels that they need and the calcium levels that they need. But they're not going to die if you feed them some cracked corn and you mix it in. They're going to do just fine with that. All right, I Love Game says, my rabbit that had kids looked really stressed after she gave birth. Is that normal? Yeah, it's a little bit normal for them to be right afterwards, to be a little bit kind of stressed looking. I mean, it's somewhat a traumatic event that's just happened. I would expect that. Mary Monk says, Instagram is easier than Facebook. I don't find Facebook difficult necessarily. It's just finding time to keep up with it and to keep content posting on it. And to try to add something else to that may be difficult. Who knows? Maybe I'll get to it. I have never used Instagram, but I'm not against it. Dakota wants to know, do I know how to blacksmith? No, I'm not a blacksmith. I mean, I know some basic things about it, but I don't really know much about it, no. Ignis says, Southeast Minnesota. My daughter lives in Ava, Missouri. Hey, that's not far from me. Maybe I can send her there this coming spring. Hey, if you want to, hit me up. We can work something out for sure. Ava's not very far away. What are my New Year's plans? Any resolutions? Well, let's see. My sister's having a New Year's Eve party, so I'm going to go over there. That's kind of a tradition. We always go over there, hang out, shoot off some fireworks, and then we all go home and go to bed because we're old. No, I don't really make New Year's resolutions. Sometimes I'll make some slight changes and things because it just seems like an appropriate time to do it. But no, I don't really have any kind of resolutions for New Year's. Aloha says, I have a Californian and I'm thinking about getting a New Zealand to breed with it. I think that's a good mix. I've had really good luck breeding California and a New Zealand. I always go with a California buck and a New Zealand female because the New Zealands are slightly bigger and I like the does to be a little bigger than the bucks. And that's worked out pretty well for me, so I would do that. All right, what else we got here? Maddox Trigg says, how do you get a lot of subscribers on a YouTube channel? Well, consistency. Find a topic that you like, find a purpose for your channel, and just consistently post videos. And if you make decent content, people like it, they will subscribe, you'll get a lot of subscribers. But, it's not really about getting subscribers. It's about, well, in my opinion, it's not really about me getting subscribers. I do like to have people subscribing to my videos and being able to interact with those people. But it's more about, for me, it's more about putting out videos that help people out, that provide them with some kind of value, something that, that they're, when I first, started producing videos is because there weren't a lot of videos that I could find where I thought people did a really good job of explaining how to raise a rabbit, how to raise quail, how to garden, how to whatever. So I started putting those out to help people that are just starting out, that have maybe been doing it for a while but have some problems. And if I figured out a solution to that, I want to share it with them and I want to give them something that they can benefit from. And that's really what it's about. And whether I get a lot of subscribers or not doesn't really matter. I do like it from the standpoint of being able to interact with everybody because I am very much a people person. I enjoy that interaction. I enjoy the community and those kinds of things. But again, it's not about subscribers. I'd rather have, 100 subscribers that are really involved than 1,000 subscribers that don't ever watch the videos and don't ever come back and don't ever interact and don't ever comment. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's see what else we got here. Yep, Aloha Quails basically said the same thing. Keep making content, let it grow organically, don't try to force it. Dakota wants to know, do you sell rabbits? I don't really sell rabbits. I've sold a few here and there, but I've only got 2 does. So I'm producing for myself, for meat, for my family, not to sell. I don't really sell them too much. Mary Monk says, I love your channel. You help me all the time. Thank you for all the info. Well, thank you so much for the kind comments. I'm glad that you find my videos helpful. Walt had a work call. I'm surprised I haven't gotten a work call. But actually, not surprised this week because, heck, everybody's off work this week but me. Not everybody, but a lot of people. Aloha Quail says, I have a California female I was given. I believe she's about 8 to 9 months old. Is there a good way to age a rabbit? I don't know of a great way to age a rabbit. Yeah, I don't really know of a good way to do that right offhand. I mean, if they're full grown and mature, it's it's pretty easy to tell if they're full grown and mature, I think. Then I don't know how you could tell exactly how old they are from that point. Cowboy Colt says, "Hey, you got me into rabbits and quail. Thanks, man." Well, thank you so much for watching the videos, and I'm glad I could provide you with some help. Cowboy Colt says, "I want to hatch my quail eggs, but struggling to find an incubator that is cheap, that has good reviews and advice." If you're looking for, I use a Little Giant incubator with an egg turner and an automatic, and a fan, a forced air incubator. I've heard really good things about the Hovabator incubators. They're pretty much the same thing. It's a styrofoam box with a, thermostat and a forced air, like a fan that forces the air, and put an egg turner in it. I've heard really good things about the Hovabators. You're going to get some bad reviews on all those, from time to time. A lot of that is because the people that are buying them and using them don't know how to incubate eggs. There is a little bit of a learning curve to incubating. I have a whole series of videos on how to do it. The one thing that I will say about those styrofoam incubators is that they're notorious for the thermostats not being incredibly accurate. So get a couple of external meat thermometers, not digital, analog, like where the dial turns on them, and make sure you calibrate them so you know that they're reading true. Stick those in there to make sure that your incubator temperature is reading correct. But again, Little Giant's good, and Hovabators are really good. And I think there's another one, Farm Innovations. I think they're probably just fine too, but I don't know much about them, honestly. All right, where are we going? Comments starting to move by pretty quick. Aloha Quail says a Hovabator in with an egg turner. Yep, Hovabators, I hear really good things about them. I haven't used them, but I hear great reviews. My Little Giant has performed great. And the one thing I can't say about Little Giant is I did have my thermostat go out one time, and it just like cooked my eggs. It got way too hot. I called the company, and they had a new thermostat sent to me in like 2 days. So great customer service. They didn't even ask me when I bought it, but it was well over a year old. I don't know how long I'd had my incubator, but it was well over a year, and I think their warranty is only like a 1-year warranty. But they didn't even ask. They just shipped me a new thermostat, no problem whatsoever. It was super easy to install, got me back up and running in no time. All right, what else we got here? I'm going to have to start wrapping this up here pretty quick. Cora K says, farm incubator is $89 plus shipping and is awesome. I got mine from eBay. There's a good suggestion. And let's see, I didn't do that, did I? I did a video on beginning for rabbits, and I posted a bunch of links to all kinds of equipment in there. I haven't done that for quail. Maybe I'll do one for quail, and I'll post some links to some incubators in there. Just forewarn guys, any links I post in my videos are probably going to be affiliate links. So if you click on those and you buy something, then I'm probably going to get like a little bit of a commission off that. It's not much. I make less than $30 a month off of Amazon commission. So it's not really much money I make, but if that bothers you, don't do it. Go search it out. Go look at your own or whatever. What we got here? Yes, thank you. I raised 10 healthy and tame rabbits. I have 5 at the moment. I'm not sure who you're responding to, Allison, but nice. 10 healthy and tame rabbits. Very good. Maddox Trigg wants to know, how old does a rabbit need to be to breed? It kind of depends on the breed, but when you're talking about most meat rabbits, New Zealand's, California's, silver foxes, all those kinds of things, usually about 6 months old is about how old they need to be before you can start breeding them. Aloha Quail says, you're using the 1602N, the Hovabator incubator 1602N. That's the model I would go with too. It's around $60. The egg turner is around $50. That seems a little high for an egg turner. I wonder if other egg turners would fit in there. But hey, you're looking at just a little over $100 for an egg turner and an incubator. It's not a bad deal. It works pretty well. Yeah, I agree with you on that, Aloha Quails. He says, get the egg turner where the eggs sit in the cups and not the rolling one. It works way better. I will tell you that if you get the egg turners, they usually come with chicken egg cups, and they're pretty good size, but they work. You can put your quail eggs in there, and they work just fine. But you can buy quail rails, which is what I have now. The only real benefit to getting the quail rails is they let you incubate a lot more eggs. Like the chicken egg cups only hold like, I can't even remember how many it is, like 25, 30 eggs, something like that. Whereas the quail eggs hold like 60. So that's the big difference. Allison Tripoli says, oh, you're saying thanks to you watched my videos? Okay. Well, thank you so much. I'm glad you found them helpful. And Quessy looks like, saying good night to everyone. You're taking off. Thanks for joining tonight. Glad to see you. And C. Vignes says, thanks for these live videos. Well, thank you guys for joining the live videos. This is the time I get to interact with you guys a little bit. I do like interacting in the comments section, but this kind of live interaction is a little bit more my style, something I enjoy quite a bit. Yeah, there you go. 120 versus 48. You got the numbers right. I can't remember how many it is. You're right, it's not 60, it's 120. I've incubated way more than 60 at a time. Maddox Trigg says, can you make, I would update video tomorrow. I'm not sure, I lost track of what we were talking about. I'm not sure what you're asking me there, I'm sorry. Cora K says, I bought quail rails too. Exchanging the racks was no fun. I didn't have too many problems changing them out myself, but yeah, it makes you a little nervous, like you're going to break it, you know, because you're going to pry them out of there. But it worked okay. Aloha Quail says, thanks for making videos. Usually I am working when you're on. Glad I got to be here. Well, thanks for joining. I'm glad you got to be here too. We've kind of interacted a little bit on comments. I commented on a video or two on your channel and we interacted. But it's good to get on a live broadcast and actually interact in real time with you. Can you make a rabbit a day video tomorrow? A rabbit a day video? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm sorry, Maddox. I'm not following along. What do you mean by a rabbit a day video tomorrow? I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. Walt Lars says live chat is good for both rabbit and quail farmers. Hey, it's good for me too. Like I said, I get to interact with everybody. Yeah. Yeah, I may have to try again. I'm sorry, Maddox. Sometimes I'm a little bit slow and I'm just not really grasping what you're asking me to shoot. Hey, 6 Count family. Yeah, I like to respond. I do my best to respond to every comment. He says you're really good at responding to questions on other videos, but live broadcast gets instantaneous response. Love it. I do my best to respond to as many comments, if not every comment, if I can. But I can't always do that. I do my best to do that. But yeah, I agree. The live feedback is much better, I think. Cora K says she raises ducks. Cora, I'm assuming it's she. Can't see your picture, but you raise ducks. If I need advice, you can help me out. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. If when I get into ducks, you'll have to remind me of that, and I'll hit you up, and we'll share some tips. Maddox says, can you make a rabbit update video tomorrow and say I gave you that idea? Well, what idea are you talking about? I mean, I could do a rabbit update video and give you a shout out for that. I don't have a problem with doing that, but you're going to have to be more specific than that for me. What kind of rabbit update are you wanting to see? What kind of topic are you wanting to get covered? And you're going to probably have to come back. I got to get off here, guys. My wife is home. We got to go have dinner, so I'm going to have to wrap this up here pretty quick. But come back after the video is posted, like I said, because the comment section is going to disappear. And then post in the comment section for me what you'd like to see the video cover, and I will do my best to get that shot. And then I'll give you a shout out for that, Maddox. But it probably won't go up tomorrow. It'll go up probably like Tuesday. Tuesday, Monday. Yeah, Tuesday, probably. But yes, I will do my best to get that shot for you if you can give me a specific idea. So, hey, everybody's saying good night now. Thank you guys again so much for joining the live broadcast, for interacting with me a little bit here. Happy New Year to each and every one of you guys. Hope you all had a great Christmas. We didn't even talk about what everybody got for Christmas. So if you want to and you want to come back, after the video post, leave a comment below. Let me know if you got anything cool for Christmas. I got a new pressure cooker, an electric pressure cooker canner. Pretty nice one. I really like it quite a bit. So anyway, I'm going to let you guys get off here. Thank you so much for coming by, for stopping by. As always, I want to tell each and every one of you, God bless, and have a great new year. And we will talk to you again on next week's live broadcast. Take care, everybody.